Welcome to this episode of the Mystery Cast right here on Tales of Earth, a show that we live stream every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern or 12 o'clock our time. You figure that out. You can support us by...
I like how you don't specify.
Subbing.
You figure out what
following us on Twitch at Comic Historian, of course. And subscribe at Tales of Earth on YouTube. You can also support us by going to patreon.com/comicstorian. And then I believe it's through the links below on YouTube, back to YouTube, or you can buy some Tales of Earth merch. If you want, like that.
I wore a shirt
not
today.
This is not on the store. That's not on the store.
I wore that one yesterday, so I couldn't.
Dan might be on the store.
I might.
You can
You'll
get
have
a
to go
plush
to find
version of Dan.
Go
That
put
would
on
be
some
kind of
cozy
awesome.
clothes. Yeah, just...
We should make plush versions of ourselves.
We have made these jokes. Today is deja vu
Oh
central.
my goodness, it is, yeah.
Somebody has changed the matrix.
Either that or I'm going crazy.
What
Going implies you were sane.
I feel like I
Are
also made the same reaction last time we
some-
had this.
of your favorite space conspiracies?
Well, on
We're
the
back
dark
on-
side
we're
of
back
the
to
moon,
space.
I believe that's
Space-
where the evil Transformers are.
Yes. Space conspiracies I've noticed are they're more abundant than other conspiracies because you can't prove any of it.
Yeah.
Like in
Right, yeah,
in a lot of
exactly. Yeah,
cases,
yeah,
you can't prove any of it. So honestly, I could think we could make like 2 months out of just random space
easy.
conspiracies.
My favorite are the ones that go straight into like, because there's some it's like, well, we have a base on the moon or whatever like that. That's boring. I like the ones that go straight into like sci-fi territory where it's like there's a fleet
Oh,
of
yes.
Nazis that are working for space lizards and like
Which we
there's
did talk
the
about,
dark
which is a real-
fleet,
the
which is
dark
like
fleet,
yeah
yep.
things like I love those
space
ones.
poop.
I like the ones that
Yep.
there was one
Space
we did a
poop.
whole it was like 10 theories and they all sounded like really
They
good or
sounded
really
awesome.
lame sci-fi novels.
The line
The
for
line,
good
yeah,
versus
yeah,
lame
yeah.
sci-fi novels.
It
is so
depends on
good.
who's
It's
writing
true.
it is really what
It's
it comes
true.
down to.
I mean, I'm convinced that a lot of sci-fi writers just have, and even conspiracy theorists, which they could be one and the same, they probably are, just have like dice that have different words on each side. They're like, okay,
Dark
lizards,
fleet.
angels,
Oh,
fleet, dark Nazis. Okay, great.
I like it.
I roll
There's
that
my
a lot. It's like you roll that a lot, man.
Get like a handful. There we go. I got
There
to
we
come up
go.
with some ideas for chapters.
How do I fit hollow in there?
Hollow Dark Fleet.
There you go. Hollow Dark Fleet.
Well, the Dark
They're
Fleet
the
hit the
ghosts.
Earth and created the Hollow.
Okay, I was gonna say they're like
it.
the Hollow Dark Fleet are like the ghosts of the Dark Fleet.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, today we have 25 space conspiracies that just won't die.
Much
from
like the
space,
aliens on Mars, which is why we
which are
need to nuke them.
also Nazis.
Sure.
And what was it? The
Everybody knows Martians are
insectoids?
racist.
So we
There's
need to
like-
make sure there's an anti-Nazi sticker on the nuke,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so
Yes.
that they're aware. that
I
we're
believe this
against
nuke is
that.
aimed at us.
What makes you think that?
It's got that sticker on
It's
it.
like that sticker on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh. This comes from space.com. And of course, the first one, there's that senior living ad again. The Apollo moon landings were faked.
This is a really old conspiracy.
Very old
Yeah,
conspiracy.
this has
Very
been
old.
this has pretty much been around since we landed on the moon.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been debunked
Several
since
times.
we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Debunked in the sense that we did actually land on the moon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Or
the
did we?
fact that didn't people like do the math that it would have
all
cost
kinds.
more to fake it
Oh,
than
yeah.
to actually
Yeah.
go to
For
the
the
moon
time
at
frame,
Well, and
oddly
then if
enough,
anybody
yeah.
could prove that we didn't go, it would have been Russia.
Yeah.
Would have been able to prove that we didn't do it. So, anyway. 12 NASA astronauts walked on the moon between 1969 and 1972, and the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has since released new photos of the landing sites. In the decades since Apollo 11 astronauts first set foot on the moon, you ever wonder why it takes them so long to release these photos? Got to brush that out.
Get that rid of that alien. Yeah.
First set on foot on the moon, many theories have been put forward, claiming that the whole Apollo program was staged. Why are there no stars in the sky in the moonwalkers' photos? Why are the U.S. flags fluttering on the surface? Why do you see footprints in the pictures but no marks from the lunar modules that landed there? The answers to those questions are simpler than you may think. There are no stars in the sky for the same reason you don't see stars during the day on Earth. The bright glow of daylight on the surface washes them out. U.S. flags planted into the lunar soil had metal rods sewn into them to appear as though they were moving. Without these wires, the flag would have hung straight down, making for a pretty lackluster photo prop.
Fake news.
And the lunar modules, though heavier, didn't put prominent marks on the surface in some places because their mass was more evenly distributed than the astronauts' weight was in their boots.
No.
Physics.
No, physics is stupid. Physics is also fake.
There's actually a theory that
is
says
fake.
physics is fake,
Yeah,
that gravity doesn't exist.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gravity's an illusion.
You know what else is an illusion?
Lately, it doesn't feel like I'm being held down by gravity, more like pushed.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep
It's
going.
called aging.
What else is other an illusion?
NASA is a lie.
I've said that for decades, even though I have a T-shirt that says NASA on it.
What
Sorry,
are you laughing
I find,
about
I
over
find
here?
that one. Sorry, that one I find funny
Yeah.
just because it's like, if it was a lie, I'm like, what the hell did my grandpa do if he was the director
yeah.
of NASA?
He'll never tell you. I would love to be an employee at
I'll tell you what he
NASA
did.
and read this list and kind of look around like, is it?
I'll tell you what he did.
Is
though.
this-
no? Because they're like looking at it and they're like, they're on to us.
They're on to us.
I'll tell you what your grandfather did.
What?
Fake the moon landing. That's what he did.
That's it.
You ask him. Call him right now.
Yeah.
Text him.
He just hung up. Some folks actually believe NASA's whole function is not to explore space, but to generate space-related hoaxes. Yes, that's where billions of dollars are sent.
if that was their real job.
That would be
That would be
incredible.
awesome. Like you get a job, you're like, yes, I got a job at NASA. First day, they're like, all right, we can let you know what we really do now.
Which is nothing.
We do nothing but make up space
They-
stuff.
What do
They
you
actually
spend-
go in and they go, so what do you think we do? Okay.
What do you think we do?
Okay, I like that
all
one.
right,
I
right,
like
yeah,
that.
we're definitely putting out an
Oh,
memo.
definitely. Okay. We do those. Pretend like we do. Okay, sound good? Cool.
Great.
NASA.
And we'll
Awesome.
pay
Get to
you
work, man.
50,000 moon bucks a month.
Moon bucks.
We pay in moon
You can
rocks.
use them in the NASA store.
That's pretty much
yeah,
it.
that's
Like
pretty
a
much
Disney
it.
World kind
Exactly.
of thing going on.
It's like you get tickets. You
Yeah,
do a good
yeah.
job. Your workstation prints out tickets. You're like, sweet.
I can finally get that Razor scooter.
Wait, where's that PlayStation? Oh, that's 14 million moon bucks.
I'm not going to be here that long.
Oh my goodness. Okay. People who believe this conspiracy sometimes flagged with the hashtag NASA hoax. I keep wanting to say NASA. NASA hoax on social media will say that amazing space pictures of Mars, Pluto, and even Earth are fake computer-generated imagery, even back in the 60s. I made that up. In reality, NASA was formed in 1958 to provide for research into problems of flight within and outside the Earth's atmosphere, and for other purposes. Ooh, what other purposes? Dun, dun, dun. According to the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958, which then President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed into law shortly after the start of the space race against the Soviet Union. Since then, NASA has launched hundreds of satellites into orbit around Earth, the Moon, and several other worlds. In fact, NASA spacecraft have orbited, flown by, or landed on every planet in the solar system. NASA also sends astronauts into orbit, where they conduct research at the International Space Station. Not convinced? Try watching a rocket launch for yourself, or see the space station and other satellites with your own eyes with the help of a satellite tracker. In which case, I think these conspiracy theorists would just say, it's a hologram.
Right.
Like you're standing there watching a rocket take off, right? You can feel the heat
Yeah.
from like,
The ground
yeah,
shaking.
the ground shaking.
Yeah.
And they're like, their computer generated stuff is really
It's
good.
very
Yeah,
convincing.
very advanced.
Very advanced, yeah.
Like I can feel it.
Yeah. That hologram singed me. That's amazing. Yeah. No, I love this idea that they're just sitting in this building at NASA headquarters.
Making stuff up.
Making stuff up.
Yeah.
You got to ask, like, well, what are we spending our money on then? You know, those rockets, they're actually just arcades. Like,
Whose
it's
turn
just
is
a
it to
big
pilot
ride.
the rocket
Yeah,
from
it's just
their
a big
computer?
ride.
Can I rent that out for my kid's birthday?
Yeah, sure.
There's a climbing wall on the inside and that portion right there. Yeah, they're fun. We love building rockets here. All right, next one, the Earth is flat, which was our very first conspiracy / mystery cast episode.
Probably one of
I wasn't here
the
for
greatest.
It is a great theory. I love this theory. The myth is so popular that there's even a group named after it, the Flat Earth Society. Members of the organization argue that the horizon is always at eye level, which they say would not be possible if the Earth were round. Oh my goodness!
I'm not
my
even really
heart
sure
rate
the-
goes up
what
every
the-
time
I'm
I
excited
read
for the end of this to tell you a story that I know about the flat Earth that I
just-
think both of you will love.
Yes.
The idea that the horizon wouldn't be at eye level because if the Earth was round, I don't even understand how the thought process goes into that.
It's the thought process of, well, I'm not going to go there.
I guess.
So I'm going to say that's where it ends.
Yes.
Yeah. They also say that there's no full movie of the Earth. Sorry, what? They also say there's no full movie of the Earth. Oh, like a video. of the Earth rotating from space, which is not true, as NASA has published multiple videos taken from satellites, including a live video of Earth from the ISS, which orbits our planet 16 times per day. You can literally go watch the Earth.
But we've already established that NASA is fake.
Yes, and they're making this stuff up.
Well,
Yeah, so obviously we can't trust
And
that.
actually, the live feed, they're not really good with tech. They've put a computer animated video on a screen of the Earth rotating, and they put a camera in front of that video because they haven't figured out the whole live stream thing
now and then
yet.
I see somebody walking
I thought it
around.
was just in front of like an atlas and like it occasionally
got some
slow
guy
down.
sitting
Come on,
there
go
like-
spin it real quick.
Don't get John
That would
Krasinski
be
to do it because he'll spin it the wrong way.
hilarious. I didn't realize all that writing was actually on the Earth. That's weird.
That's amazing.
No wonder
Who
we
owns
call
the
stuff
Earth?
stuff.
Yeah. What is the name of the company that makes all the globes?
Globes are us.
Anyway, somebody.
Atlas United.
No, it's there's
WeBuildGlobes.com.
It was a line in The Simpsons even. Anyway, one way of demonstrating to yourself that the Earth is round is to consider how orbits of satellites work. Satellites constantly fall around the Earth as they are pulled around by our planet's gravity. They just need to be traveling fast enough at a high enough altitude to not slam into the atmosphere. Or you can look at the same amazing pictures taken by astronauts at the ISS. Still not sold? Watch Neil deGrasse Tyson lay out the facts in a rap battle with B.O.B. The Earth looks flat because you aren't far enough away at your size, which is true. Tyson explains your size isn't large enough relative to Earth to notice any curvature at all.
What does that guy know?
If you went to the top of the Samsung Tower in Dubai, you would actually notice that a difference in when on the clock when the sun sets and rises from the base of the tower, which proves the curvature of the Earth. Yeah, it's different by like a couple minutes or something.
So the story of the debunking of the flat Earth was there was a group of people in the Flat Earth Society that rose $20,000 to buy a gyroscope to prove that the Earth was not that the Earth was flat.
Okay.
And they were like, well, according to the math, it would rotate like I want to say 15 degrees every hour.
Okay.
And the guy's like, yeah. And then when we did it, there was it was a weird error that we kept running into of a window of margin of 15 degrees every hour. And they had spent $20,000 to prove the Earth was not
wrong.
flat.
Oh my goodness!
Well, at least they did, and they probably still didn't believe it.
No, and they were still just like, it's clearly something faulty or something.
We spent
But it was
$20,000
just-
on this broken gyroscope.
It was just so funny that it was like they spent so much to prove themselves wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it's something wrong with the tech. It's something wrong. Yeah,
Something wrong with it.
yeah.
goodness.
All right, Planet 9 will kill us.
I've never heard
That's the
this
title. Yeah, you never heard of this one? In April 2016, the New York Post tweeted, quote, a newly discovered planet could destroy Earth as soon as this month.
Oh.
Well, the New York Post tweeted it.
Well,
I mean, we are in 2020, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me.
The newspaper,
this is
that's
4
true.
years ago.
Oh, we were a few years off. Yeah. The newspaper was referring to Planet 9, a theoretical planet at the edge of the solar system. An accompanying video also claimed that the new planet would be throwing all sorts of asteroids and comets at Earth, which would supposedly end up pummeling our planet. Miss,
Earth.
miss. Oh, man.
Thinking it's like me.
Stupid third rock from the sun.
I was supposed to be the third rock from the sun. Although the planet's existence has not been confirmed, astronomers are actively looking for it to explain motions of some objects in the icy Kuiper Belt, a vast region of icy objects beyond Neptune. If the planet is actually found, the California Institute of Technology's Mike Brown, who is one of the original backers of the Planet 9 theory, says the planet will pose no threat to us. So,
Its inhabitants, however,
Yeah.
are looking
they're
for
the
war.
ones sorting the asteroids. Yeah. They also want to nuke Mars.
So we're fighting over who gets to nuke
Yeah,
Mars first.
why not?
I like it. Yeah. solid.
Why not?
Yeah.
So there is actually something out in the Kuiper Belt that is having an effect on the inner planets as well as like objects around
Right.
in the Kuiper Belt. And it's dark. We can't actually see it. So one theory is it's a very, very small black hole.
That's what I was going to
Yep.
say, yeah.
Or it's just a very dark world, literally visually dark that we just can't see.
That'd be kind of cool.
So what are you thinking?
I got
Are we wrong? No. Mr. Illuminati?
I can't say. I can neither confirm nor deny that we are currently at war with people of the ninth planet.
The 9 theories.
However, this is wartime, but I cannot confirm nor
But I
deny
We
who
will
we're
all
at
be
war
soon
with.
drafted
Yes.
into the Space Force.
Into the Space Force. Alien research is happening at Area 51. The aliens are doing research at Area 51. The 1996 movie Independence Day, I thought it was 97, is one of the sources of the Area 51 hoax, which claims that aliens and their technology recovered from the crashed flying saucers are being studied secretly at a classified military base about 80 miles or 130 kilometers northwest of Las Vegas in the Nevada desert. Some people in the area around the base claim that they have seen strange flights out of this area. While Area 51's true focus is classified, the U.S. government has acknowledged its existence, although the CIA officially calls it Homey Airport or Groom Lake. A part of Edwards Air Force Base, the area was a known location for high-technology airplane flights in the 1960s and 1970s. It first served as a proving ground for Lockheed U-2 and A-12 Oxcart spy planes as early as 1955. UFO sightings reporting the area were indeed unidentified objects, but only because the planes were top secret. Imagine that. Not because they were flown by aliens. I mean, the only way you can test fly like a top secret aircraft is to fly it. And
This
some
is true.
people are probably going to see it.
No, that doesn't add up.
Clearly, you test flying objects by putting them in water.
Oh,
Everybody knows
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. So where can we do this in secret?
Unidentified
Nowhere.
submersible object.
I wonder if that's a thing.
Maybe.
That should be a thing.
Back before we knew like what like German U-boats looked like, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like though, if it's in the water, even if it looks somewhat mechanical or
You
like a
gotta
boat,
assume,
it's
yeah.
got to be wildlife, or it's got to be.
Pretty sure that's a whale
I'm
that shot a
pretty
torpedo
sure.
at me.
It's a whale that spat very, very quickly.
They've evolved torpedoes. That's frightening.
Why does that whale have the USSR logo on it?
There is a killer
Spy
planet.
whales.
Spy whales.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nuke whales. Oh,
Almost as bad as hyper-evolved
Oh my
snakes.
almost as bad.
Almost as
I like
bad.
how nuke
So
whales.
that's
are
what that
almost
holds
as bad.
for, is for the nuke to get launched.
It's perfect.
Actually, yeah.
The USOs.
Yeah.
That's why they breach water.
Unidentified submersible
Just
objects.
every time you see them spray
Yeah.
water, it's a test fire, just to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
it's still.
Well,
Makes
that
sense.
test fire went really high
Yeah.
and far. It's loud, too. There's a killer planet known as Nibiru. Conspiracy theorists say another dangerous planet is Nibiru, which was first mentioned in the 1976 book, The 12th Planet by Zechariah Sitchin. In the book,
10th and
Yeah, I was
11th?
gonna say, how do we?
I don't know.
Okay, please check my previous novels, the 10th and 11th planets. The 10th one isn't as bad. The 11th one, depending on the day, whether it's gonna kill us or not.
You just didn't count correctly. It was like 9, 12.
He's
Boom.
counting in threes.
Nailed it.
Because the Earth is the third rock from the
That makes
sun.
sense. Yeah.
Okay.
The sixth would still be, what would that be? Not Jupiter. That'd be Uranus.
You know they're petitioning to have that changed because of all the jokes. They're gonna
Yeah.
call it Eurectum.
Ah.
And then 9th planet, and then 12th planet. So the
Yeah.
next one's could be 15th. If there's a
Great.
15th planet on this list.
Okay, so in all actuality, we are discovering more and more planets that are could technically be within our solar system.
Right. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are so many more objects orbiting our star than we ever imagined,
Oh, yeah.
and of all kinds of sizes too.
Very
UFOs,
small-minded
unidentified
people.
orbital objects.
Yeah, I mean you got to realize there was a time
Unidentified, orbital. So
Orbital.
orbital.
Unidentified. Orbital objects.
I like it.
Thank you.
Good, that was a good
Keep
conversation that I just witnessed.
Keep going. Well, he struggled for a second.
I
had
was
to
struggling
explain it
with
to him.
letters.
Just keep going. It's fine.
Oh my goodness, what was I saying? I mean, you got to think about it. Like before the 20th century, we weren't even sure that other galaxies existed.
It's true. Yeah.
We weren't sure how many planets there were in our solar system.
I mean, clearly we didn't even know what qualified as a planet for a while.
Yeah. I mean, even the idea of other planets around other stars was still just a theory up until I think like the 1970s.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that was
So-
another NASA hoax.
It's all a NASA hoax. All right. So back to the 12th planet. In the book, Sitchin translated ancient Sumerian cuneiform and claimed that the text is proof of a planet beyond Neptune called Nibiru, which orbits around the sun every 3,600 years. Years later, self-proclaimed psychic Nancy, a self-proclaimed psychic.
I mean, who's gonna argue with it, right?
I would love to be like, I think a real psychic would be told that they're psychic. Like, yeah, I totally agree. I didn't say anything. Like that kind of like, you know, like I
right.
think you're psychic. Like people have told me I'm psychic, but I need to like find out. But if you are telling people you're psychic,
Hey
I don't know.
guys, I'm kind of a psychic.
I'm kind of a psycho.
kind of a psychic. Yeah.
Hey.
Claimed to have communicated
had
with
something in
extraterrestrials who said Nibiru would collide with Earth in 2003. When that didn't happen, go figure, the date was moved to 2012 and linked, of course, with the 2012 doomsday predictions. Of course, the collision never occurred. Yes, what?
I bet if you asked her now, she would say it's in 2020.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, first it'll be the global pandemic. That's the first sign. Then
Everybody
it's the
knows.
murder hornets.
Then murder hornets.
That's the second sign. Then there will be a shortage of toilet paper. That's the
Again.
third sign.
Again.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing the Charmin commercials where they're like, it's a hard
We're
time,
working
and the
really
last
hard
thing
for
you
you."
want to do is deal with running out of toilet paper.
true.
It's so funny.
What's
It is funny.
I'm gonna make a
Okay.
prediction about 2020.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
let's
let's
see.
hear it.
We're currently in May. I'm gonna
think-
say
Yes, we're May.
August.
Okay.
I'm going August.
Oh
Okay.
God, no.
What's your prediction?
The 12th planet will arrive.
Oh no.
However, we will think it's going to collide with us, but it will slow, and then we will fight the 12ers.
The 12ers.
Yeah,
I
they're from
like
the 12th
it.
planet.
And then in
nice, the
2021,
12ers, yeah.
the 9th planet shows up, and
To
then we
aid
have
us.
an
Kind
enemy
a
of my
fallen-
enemy.
Yeah,
kind
it's kind of a
thing.
fallen skies kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. The
Yeah.
12ers. I like that theory.
12ers and the 9ers. That's what we'll call them.
And then we'll have propaganda cartoons featuring Daffy Duck
Fighting Marvin the Martian.
fighting Marvin the Martian. The 12er. Of course, the collision never occurred. The world didn't
Guess you're
end in
wrong,
2012, and no astronomer, or it did end, and we're now in the Matrix. And no astronomer has ever found a planet on a collision course with Earth.
Yeah.
Great. There is a face on Mars.
Oh, I can see.
This is an oldie but a goodie. 1976, NASA's Viking 1 spacecraft took a picture of what appeared to be a face on Mars. Immediately, some people said there must have been aliens on the red planet that left. It's more like a burnt orange that left the face behind as evidence of their existence. NASA, however, pointed out that the suspected face is really just a pile of rocks casting shadows that resemble face-like features,
Yeah.
like how the pyramids look like pyramids. Or isn't it really just a big pile of rocks? I mean, ultimately, come on, I'm just saying. I like to
Well,
think
to
that
be
there is a
fair,
big
the
face
pyramids
on
were
Mars.
shaped that way on purpose.
That's
I
what
don't-
I'm saying.
I
That's
don't
what I'm
think that's
saying.
a great.
When you
Comparison.
change your language, okay,
Okay.
like, aren't like the face is just a big pile of rocks that looks like a face.
Okay.
The pyramids are a big pile of rocks.
Yeah, but they were shaped that way on
That's
purpose.
what I'm saying.
So you're saying that this
is
was
like
shaped
that
to be
by
a
the-
face?
Yes, I think so.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I thought you were trying to
misunderstood.
disprove it by
saying that like the pyramids
that
are
the
just,
pyramids are a natural.
Yeah, that's
kinda what it
Okay,
sounded
no.
like.
I'm
I'm
trying
confused.
to. I'm trying to twist the logic back around on that.
I got it. All right, I
Okay,
understand.
okay.
I don't actually know if there's. Obviously, I don't know if there's a real face on Mars.
That'd be
but
sweet.
That would be sweet.
It's actually kind of like those like needle things where you put your face in and it sticks. But the
So you're saying
Martians
there's a
were under
giant
the
beneath
earth.
the surface.
That's actually
What's-
where we got the Attack on Titans from.
yeah.
Is they're Martians?
They're actually
Giant
Martians.
Martian face.
We need to nuke Mars.
We do.
Right now. It's not the 12th planet. It's Mars. NASA followed up with better resolution pictures taken from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and the Mars Global Surveyor in 1998 and 2001, respectively. These new images made it quite clear that the face on Mars is nothing more than a trick of light and shadows on a completely normal Martian mound. Or they're doctored photos. I'm just saying.
Or it's the Giants of Barsoom.
Giants of Barsoom.
Yeah, it's Edgar Rice Burroughs. Sorry, Warlord of
Yeah.
Mars. It's okay. Keep going.
Yeah, never.
Sure.
Yeah.
Early 1900s sci-fi.
Look at
Never
me,
read it.
I read literature.
The moon,
I'm
Lepidus.
educated.
It was like pulp sci-fi, so it's not really
Pulp sci-fi,
educated.
yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
not really educated, but
The moon Lepidus is an alien Death Star. There's a typo there. It's supposed to be a Death Star.
or is it?
Nope,
Or
it
is
is
it?
not. That is too far from
Yeah,
the
that's
R to
true.
B.
We shall call it the Death Stars. What does that mean? I don't know.
I don't know. It's my
Death
accent.
Star
It's my
was
accent.
taken.
Death Star was
We don't want to be
taken.
sued.
Yeah, one letter off. Lepidus is a moon of Saturn that looks somewhat like the infamous Death Star in the Star Wars franchise, with a large crater that resembles the fictional weapon's super laser focused lens. Death Star is a planet-killing machine that destroys entire worlds with its outrageously powerful laser. It was prominently featured in the 2016 movie Rogue One, a Star Wars story, as well as in 1977's Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Was it in the original?
I feel like they should have said those back around.
I agree. Yeah. I know. I agree.
It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Probably not a Star Wars fan.
He's not getting
It's okay.
triggered
It's okay.
at all.
It's
It
okay.
was
at all.
predominantly
This
featured
is the way.
in this one, not
In
where
the
it
new
was
one.
introduced.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
knew
don't want to talk about it. Just keep going.
That's chronological order for the movies. A Daily Mail article published in May 2016 claimed Lepidus is an artificial object crafted by aliens. As, quote, evidence, the article cited a photo taken by NASA's Cassini spacecraft in 2004. In the photo, there's a line around the moon's equator that resembles the equatorial trench around the Death Star, but this line isn't nearly as interesting as the Death Star's trench, which houses the battle stations, engines, thrusters, and docking bays. That line is nothing more than a mountain ridge, and Lepidus is actually made up of boring old rock and ice. Or is it?
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Cassini has flown by the moon to take pictures several times without being blasted by deadly alien lasers.
Hold on, scroll up to the picture
that
again real
proves
quick.
nothing.
I don't see this.
I guess that would be
That's
the
the
crater.
laser.
Yeah, that's
But the line that they
There's
were
the
referring
laser.
to,
The
like this,
Probably
maybe.
not.
Right there, maybe? I don't know.
So let's hypothetical here for a second. Let's say it is an alien space station, a Death Stas, if you will.
Well, I thought hypothetical meant that it wasn't real.
True. All right. Let's say hypothetically though, it ran out of power and got stuck in
like it.
orbit
I like
around
it.
Saturn.
Okay.
General Tarkin, did you forget to refill before we left?
We had like half a tank. I thought we were good.
We're good.
I could have swear we had a couple more light years.
Someone left the AC on.
Anyway,
and it
let's
just used
say it
to-
ran out of reactor power,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
and got stuck in orbit around. Maybe there was an infection that killed off all the ants. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a scientist. Okay, but let's say it got stuck in orbit around Saturn,
Okay.
thus becoming one of its moons. Now, over millions of years, these are ancient aliens, mind you. Watch it on History Channel.
Which is always
maybe
true.
it gathered space dust, debris,
Yeah.
Which would happen.
formed a
Yes.
crust around it,
Yes,
so
which
it's
would happen.
possible it is both a moon and a Death Stas.
I like the Death Stats.
I'm just saying.
I think you got a point.
It is not completely unheard of.
No, you're
It's
correct.
And
Actually-
I'm saying this with a big grin on my face,
Yeah.
but I'm being 100% serious.
No, I'm actually kind of agreeing. Like, if under the assumption that it was in the past, it could easily
Right.
be hidden up by debris.
Yes, by
or,
debris and space
just-
dust and whatever like that. It just
Exactly.
it formed a crust around.
Why
this
was
space
this
Yeah.
Death Stats heading to the Earth? Could they?
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe.
Once again, I'm not a
Oh
scientist.
My goodness.
What?
Wait, which is it? Jupiter? That's a gas. That's a gaseous planet.
Jupiter and Saturn both.
Both of them are. What if they weren't always? And that's what destroyed them. And it ran out after gas after Jupiter and Saturn, so it stayed in orbit around Saturn, and all the dust landed on it.
We need to get gas. Gas planet.
Obviously.
Well, they made it into a
Then
gas
they get there like, not the right kind of gas, you idiot.
The guy was like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
I don't know. I'm just an alien.
Do I look like a space mechanic to you? And he lifted one of his 6 arms, flipped him off.
With
Sorry,
one of his
but
10
anyway, that
with
I
one of
mean,
his 10
technically
fingers.
speaking, that could
It's possible.
be a thing. Yes,
It's a
that's all I'm saying.
possibility. It is
Right.
a possibility.
Keep going.
It's
Gary.
true. No, I like that theory that it's just a dormant. And
Yeah.
when we get there, we actually realize what it is. And now the humans.
I mean, hypothetically, let's say we
Have a
landed
Death
on it and
Star.
found that it was an actual space station.
Yeah.
Like, there's something beneath the crust. Somebody write this down. We could make a movie. Anyway, we
I
should
would
send our
like. I
space
would like
troopers
to
there.
think in like 200 years, all the conspiracy theorists are going to turn out to be right.
all of them.
I
All of
would
them.
like every single
All
one.
no, except for the flat Earth.
That's
Sorry,
stupid.
Sorry,
You know
guys.
what? There's just going to be an entire shift in the universe, and anything that was fact becomes fiction, and anything that was conspiracy or fiction becomes fact and reality.
That would be a really cool premise for a story as well. Call it the Great Reversing. I don't know.
The great flipping.
The Great Flipping. Saturn's Hexagon is alien technology.
Well,
and
obviously.
not physics.
Obvi.
Saturn's Hexagon was first spotted when NASA's Voyager spacecraft flew by the giant ring planet in 1980. The bizarre six-sided structure on the round planet's north pole caused quite a stir because straight lines and polygons are not so common in nature.
Once again,
Yes.
that's nature on our planet.
True.
Very true.
Yeah. Immediately after the Voyager returned its first image of Saturn's strange feature, even stranger theories arose to explain it, including that it was somehow related to alien technology or perhaps even was a gateway to hell. Of course it's a gate.
Doom.
I like it.
Okay. All right. The hexagon is not artificial, but rather a weird-looking hurricane at Saturn's pole. NASA has done several flybys of this region with the Cassini spacecraft studying the haze particles and other features of the storm to try to learn more about its weird properties. So, truth is, we don't fully understand it even now. And it is a very strange image. Like, that's not something you would expect to see.
That's
Right.
actually Saturn's eye. The planet
Yeah.
is alive.
Or
It turns
there's-
out
I
that
don't
it
know.
wasn't Sauron, but it was a misspelled version of Saturn.
Saturn. Oh.
That's where the big eye is.
But you're absolutely
case you were
right.
curious.
We expect nature, like chemistry, to behave a certain way on Earth because that's what we understand.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
do not expect that to happen elsewhere.
But
But there are more and more scientists are accepting the fact that, intelligent, I think we talked about this last week, that intelligent or highly evolved alien life could develop underwater. It could develop
Yes,
in,
yeah.
Yes,
in
yeah.
atmospheres that we consider poisonous because
everything
honestly,
we look
life-
at is from the perspective,
Right,
through the lens
exactly.
of humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because we
and
have
through what we require.
Right.
Like,
See,
we don't
yeah,
go,
yeah, right,
oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
person requires a
Yeah.
lot of carbon
Exactly.
monoxide.
And that's just because we
Yeah,
haven't
exactly.
found anything
Yeah.
that did not
I mean, right.
conform to those rules as
right.
we understand them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we won't eventually.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We, especially on Earth, we are constantly finding even microbial life in places we thought were completely uninhabitable. Who knows? I mean, for all we know, we could, when we actually interact with alien life forms, find out that we're the odd ones out.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you guys breathe oxygen?
What do you mean you
That's
breathe?
why-
pure
that's why
poison
no
to us.
aliens have
Yeah.
come to Earth.
Yeah.
Because they're like, nobody could survive on those conditions.
Look how inefficient these people are. They're breathing in one gas and exhaling another one. What the
Yeah.
hell? Why
And,
not
and
just
then
keep
a
it all
completely
this
different
out?
gas comes out the other end.
Yeah.
These are very. That's actually why they don't want to come here. We're gassy people. We're always oozing stuff.
Why does it keep making that noise?
Why is it making that noise? What's
Sorry,
coming
keep
out of
going.
its eyeballs? Like
Mars is as big as the moon?
Mars is as big as the moon. That's a
I
theory.
like my planet with curves.
Originate. I like
That-
big moons and I cannot lie. I don't know.
Make big planetoids and I cannot lie.
Originating in 2003, the infamous Mars hoax asserts that Mars was closer to the Earth than it had been in the 60,000 years prior.
And then
As
it
if
started
that
to slow
number-
down.
And that the planet will appear as large as the full moon. What started out as a misconstrued email turned into a recurring rumor that gets reshared. I don't know. I struggled with that every August. Okay, and naturally,
I'd never get these emails.
okay, has spread to social media as it became more popular. Although Mars is indeed relatively close to Earth in a cosmic sense, it will never be as large as the full moon. It will appear as a red dot in the sky, just as the ancient astronomers saw it. If you'd like to see Mars magnified, take out a telescope or look at one of NASA's spectacular Mars pictures. So not that Mars is actually as large as our moon.
It's that it was going to grow
It's going
closer.
to appear.
Yeah.
I would fear for our lives.
I was going to say, that would really mess with it.
Yes,
Like the
if
gravity
Mars-
of
See
Earth.
that big burnt orange planet above us? I didn't know we got a second moon.
When did that happen?
Oh, you
They were
haven't
on
seen
sale.
you haven't seen the second moon?
Yeah. No.
It's like always there.
Yeah, it was kind of behind the normal moon the whole time. Yeah.
Sometimes it peeks out.
Tidally locked with our moon. Yeah, just kind of, how
It's because Mars is currently driven by the hyper-evolved snakes.
driven
Driven.
by the hyper-evolved snakes.
It's a death stats.
Death stats. Turns out our solar system is just a big series of death stats
Lined up.
lined up to take out the sun. I don't know. Like,
Well, when it every however many millions of years, once they all align,
yeah.
it focuses
It's
the
like-
death
the
stats.
Therefore, our
Yeah,
solar
yeah.
system is like a parking lot for Death Stars.
All right, everyone, remember where we parked.
And you got the guy who like could only afford Pluto.
Yeah,
Like,
well, you know, he's working on the payments.
he's working on the. He
It's his
tried.
homemade Death Stats.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why it's
homemade.
smaller than the rest.
guys.
They're like, yeah, we consider you a Death Stats. You just stay over there, buddy.
The moon will turn green.
The moon. I do remember this.
I don't remember this one at all.
In spring 2016, okay, the moon will turn green, apparently. In spring 2016, there was a rumor that the moon would turn green because several planets had aligned and caused an eerie glow. This was supposed to happen on April 20th and again May 29th for the first time since 1596, the rumor alleged. The moon never actually turned green, although it can appear red during a lunar eclipse when the moon passes through the Earth's shadow. In the same way, sunsets often appear red. Sunlight is scattered as it passes through Earth's atmosphere, casting a reddish shadow on the moon's surface. Skywatching columnist Joe Rao debunked this green moon myth. He pointed out that a full moon actually took place on April 22nd, 2016, and speculated that the April 20th date of the green moon might have to do with, quote, National Weed Day, popularly known as 420. Considering that the last green moon supposedly happened 420 years ago as well, this doesn't appear to be a coincidence. Yes, because they had a National Weed Day 420 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, obviously. Obviously, 420 is a universal. Even that is the one thing that you can go to any other planet
Oh,
or
420,
any
like,
other
hey,
death stats
yeah.
and go, hey, do you know of this? No. 420?
Yeah.
Green
so
moon?
That will
Green
actually.
moon.
So we'll almost go to war with some of these alien races, and they'll say we come in peace. Like, we don't know what that means. 420. Like, hey,
totally, bro.
totally, bro. I do remember this. Okay, so Earth will go dark for 2 weeks. I think I remember this one. There was a
God.
weird theory.
remember
Is
this
this
one
the
at all.
prediction of the
That-
pandemic?
in
It's been
July,
longer than 2 weeks.
it's been a lot longer than 2 weeks.
I don't even
Yeah.
know anymore.
In July 2015, a website called Newswatch33 wrote an article claiming that Earth would have 15 days of complete darkness that year. The website, which is actually a fake news site, was borrowing from an older version of the tale that has been circulating for years, according to debunking websites, the debunking website Snopes. As we all know, Earth did not actually experience that much darkness that year. The article claimed that the alleged darkness was partially due to a Jupiter-Venus conjunction, which actually took place more than 500 million miles apart. Darkness occurs when the Earth rotates, causing the sun to set. Is that how that works? On the local horizon, brief periods of darkness can also happen when the sun is totally obscured during total solar eclipses, which occur rarely in any particular spot on Earth. But even during an eclipse, Earth is never completely in the dark.
This is all fake science.
This is related to a theory. I don't think it's in this list, but there was a while ago that people actually believed that the Earth was going to shift into a parallel universe for like a certain amount of time.
Tell me we didn't.
And then shift back, but it was going to be a dark universe.
Prove we didn't.
We didn't all die.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it did happen, and that's where all these murder hornets are coming from.
That's
It's been
true.
a pretty crappy couple of months.
Yeah. The Earth did shift.
We're
Yeah.
now in the
2020.
darkest timeline.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I guess.
I wonder what like the global, I guess, ramifications of 2 weeks of complete darkness. Because given our current
Honestly,
mental
some stress.
climate, yeah, I feel like 2 weeks of complete darkness would send most of the Earth into like giant riots.
it would send people into absolute insanity because
would.
without
Oh, it
vitamin
would,
D and stuff
absolutely.
like that, and the ability to keep track of time.
Yeah, like I
or
feel like
see
people
the
would think it was
sun
the
is
end
gone.
times.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
You
right.
would lose a large amount of food.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or
Yeah,
not it's
yeah.
now, it would be in X amount of time when that crop should
Yeah,
have
yeah.
grown.
Assuming this is all before we freeze to death,
Like exactly,
I mean,
like freezing and
Yeah.
I think
the
we
day
would
after
stay
tomorrow.
warm. We would stay warm for what, like 8 minutes? That's how long it takes for
something
solar
like
radiation
that.
to
I wanna
yeah,
say
reach.
something
even
like
if we
that.
went completely dark, we would only survive for a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
No, I got a pretty thick blanket.
It's electric.
It is.
Zero gravity day will make you weightless, and all those people who like actually live underground are like, I told you.
Yeah.
I'm in my
and then-
bunker. I told you.
And I'm driving away. We should have listened.
We should have.
We
listened.
should have listened.
You would just be screaming that by yourself in your
Like
car.
out the
It's like,
window.
"Ah!"
No, he's got the window down the whole time.
We should have
Have you seen that episode of South Park?
Nuh-uh.
It's the Day After Tomorrow episode where it's 2 days before the day after tomorrow or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
but
which is today.
They keep
Yeah, I
walking
remember
around
that.
and like they'll drive by someone and he'll literally just go, "We should have listened. We should have listened." Okay.
Zero Gravity Day will make you weightless. I didn't know there was a Zero Gravity Day until this list.
I'm hoping.
If you ever wanted
Put
to
on that
leap into
quarantine
the
15.
sky, what?
I said I put on that quarantine 15.
If you ever wanted to leap into the sky and soar like
Quarantine
Superman,
50.
this hoax is for you. In late 2014 and early 2015, a widely shared story claimed that on January 4th, 2015, everyone on Earth would experience weightlessness due to a rare alignment of the planets. Why is it always an alignment of the planets?
Also, apparently there was a lot of these around 2015, 2016.
Oh my goodness, what was happening?
It was all about the alignment of planets was going to do something to us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, did the planets align in 2016?
I'm
actually
I
gonna
thought
look
What's
that-
the
that
next
up.
one? I'm going to start coming up with wild theories about the
Okay,
next
so I actually
alignments.
think the last true alignment of the planets happened in like 2000 or 2001, which is why that was the main storyline of Tomb Raider, because it was
Oh.
actually going to happen.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they lined it up with the alignment of the planets.
It looks like the next time that it'll happen will be May 6th, 2492.
Freeze me now.
And that will be when the Titans escape. Because that's what happened in Hercules.
Okay, when was the last alignment?
I was in
that up.
949.
The
AD.
year 949. Oh wow.
AD 949.
Interesting.
Or I guess that was the Hercules. thing.
It's
That would
almost
make
like the
more
planets
sense.
have really big orbits.
Crazy.
All right, so due to a rare alignment of the planets, a doctored image of a purported tweet from NASA's Twitter account, it always comes back to Twitter, that went around on social media fooled a lot of people into believing the hoax. But of course, nobody floated off the surface of the Earth that day. Earth's gravity
that
is
we
too
know of.
that we know of. Earth's gravity is too strong for people to become weightless. The only way to experience weightlessness without going to space is to ride aboard a plane that performs parabolas, with some including a few seconds of weightlessness. This is sometimes nicknamed the vomit comet.
I want to do it. I so badly want to be on one of those.
That would be a ton of fun.
So cool.
Woo. I'd love to experience weightlessness at least once.
For those not aware, that's when they go really high up in a plane and then they essentially dead drop
just-
so that
yep.
you no longer are affected by gravity while the plane is
Right.
essentially just
You're falling
plummeting
you're,
to the
you're
earth.
falling with the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're exactly.
It gives you a feeling of weightlessness. Yeah. Alien spacecraft caused a mysterious explosion. We talked about this actually a while ago.
That was the failed attempt.
Yeah, I mean, we would be the aliens nuking Mars, so I guess, yeah. All right, back in 2004, an expedition of Russian researchers working in Siberia claimed to have discovered an extraterrestrial device close to where the mysterious Tunguska explosion occurred. Scientists still aren't sure exactly what it was that blew up the sky over Siberia that day in 1908, but the leading theory is that it was a large meteorite or an asteroid. The Tunguska incident flattened hundreds of square miles of forest, and signs of the destruction were visible even decades afterward. At the time, news reports claimed that evidence of aliens was found at the site, but this claim was never substantiated. Imagine that. The Russian team stupidly stated long before they went to Siberia.
Stupid Russians.
They're drunk on vodka. Bunch of idiots.
Before they went to Siberia, that the main intention of their expedition was to find the remnants of an alien spaceship. Benny Pizer, a researcher at Liverpool John Moores University in the UK, told Space.com. And bingo, a week later, that's what they claimed to have found. Well, I mean, sometimes you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's weird.
What do you
It's
say?
almost like you're looking for something that you think would be there. That's why you're looking for it.
We are currently searching for aliens. What did you find? Aliens.
What's the
I
problem?
said it. I don't understand.
That's great. We should do a mock recording of an interview from like 1960.
The purpose of expedition is to find aliens. We have found the aliens. How long did it take you? About a week. Give or take.
Really, it wasn't that hard.
It wasn't. They were right there.
Okay, this one we can tie back to some of our other theories. Another one is UFO was caught refueling at the sun. So death stats are solar powered.
Back it up to the pump. Right.
Wait, hold on. Which side is it on again?
No, the little arrow's pointing that way. It's fine.
son
We're
of a-
fine.
NASA has a fleet of sun-gazing spacecraft that keep an eye on space weather, especially during solar eruptions. In 2012, telescope images appeared to show something in the shadows. On YouTube, some viewers said this could be a UFO that was refueling by using the solar plasma. However, NASA pointed out that the feature is actually something called a prominence, which has cooler and denser plasma than the outer atmosphere of the sun or the corona. Scientists are still trying to figure out how solar prominences develop, but they're pretty sure it has nothing to do with aliens. They're pretty sure. Yeah, we're pretty sure.
75% sure.
But maybe not.
Still, I do like the fact that they can't actually explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the image does look like something is hovering close to the sun.
It does.
It does.
Pulling
Yeah.
energy away from it.
Right.
It's the birth
So I mean,
of a
I will
smaller
give them
sun.
this
Well,
one.
it's an
Like,
actual.
if I saw that,
It's
and
an actual
nobody
clip. It's not just an image. It's an actual like.
Well, that's what I'm
video
saying.
clip.
So if I
Yeah.
see this and nobody explains it to me,
like something is,
I could be like, okay, there's something pulling
Oh, yeah.
something out of the sun. That's what it looks
Oh
like.
yeah,
I will give them that
Absolutely.
one at least.
And then when NASA doesn't actually have an explanation,
right, yeah, the way
it's probably not aliens. We call it a prominence because it's pretty prominent. I mean,
we're
pretty,
55% sure, and that ain't half bad.
that ain't half bad. What?
I just look at this and my head just went to like those nature channels. Here we see the small sun feeding from its mother.
Kind of, yeah. But like some of the times you see those images and like you can clearly see Nessie on Mars, and you're like, what? No.
No.
But like this one does look like something.
Like,
I-
and
I
you
will
can
give it to them,
see
yeah.
like the shape
yeah,
of something.
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it does
yeah.
look like something is hovering
I like
near the
it.
sun
Yeah,
and pulling energy
drawing
from
energy
it.
from
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'll give them that one. Like these ones, it's like there it is, right there. Like no, that's a rock.
I like the title of
it's
this
the
one.
when you can know you can neither confirm nor deny that
Yes.
it becomes such a more
Right.
enjoyable topic
Right.
because they specifically state
We don't know what it is.
we think this is
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is,
yeah.
but we can't say
we
for
can't
sure.
explain it.
We
Yeah.
can't
'Cause
prove it.
A lot of the other ones where you're like, oh well, we pretty much can say for sure that that's a pile of rocks.
Yes.
You're a little
Right.
bit more skeptical,
Right.
but I like that one.
Right. Well, there's also dangers on both sides to say it's how do they word it? Still trying to figure out whether the prominence developed, but they're pretty sure it has nothing to do with aliens.
Yeah, yeah.
They're you can't 100% say, well, it's not aliens, and you can't 100% say
It is because you don't know.
because nobody actually knows.
Yeah.
And so when NASA says we don't know, people do have a tendency to jump on the alien bandwagon.
Sure, yeah,
Like, well,
yeah.
if NASA doesn't know, it's got to be aliens.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, yeah. Anyway. All right, I like this one. There is a blank on Mars. Who knows what it is?
That we've seen so many of these.
I know.
There is a blank on Mars. The article literally just says, well, people keep looking at Mars and saying something's there, but we can't tell you.
Yeah.
What have we've seen? Bigfoots, Nessies,
The
Yes.
Crabs.
moving rock.
Moving
Yep,
rock.
moving
rock that, like, moved.
Alien technology.
Wasn't there a
Alien
gun?
gun. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say
gun.
alien gun. Yep.
Um,
and it's all rocks.
It's
That's
just
all
rocks.
it is.
Yeah. You have an entire planet with rocks of various shapes and
They're
sizes.
gonna look like stuff we know
yes.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and the best part is everyone's like, well, it has to be that. And we live on a planet where people go, oh my gosh, my piece of toast looks like Jesus.
That is also
this
true,
is
yes.
clear. It's like,
oh, yes. It's a sign.
so the,
Yeah.
So what if this is alien Jesus? Think about it.
the space pope.
Isn't he a lizard? Yeah.
With
reptilian.
Yeah.
NASA's Opportunity and Curiosity rovers regularly taking pictures of the Martian surface, viewers have the chance to check out what they're doing in almost real time. NASA puts the raw images online for the public to see. For all as far as we know, they're
fake
raw.
NASA.
But over the years, fake NASA. Well, it turns out NASA is fake.
That's what hashtag fake NASA.
Yeah.
The F is silent.
It's like, hey, we need more pictures of Mars. Hey, go to Nevada, take some pictures, send them back.
Yep.
Okay. For example, the Opportunity rover appeared to photograph a female figure. Other photos have shown things
Sexy.
shaped like animals, spoons, or other items.
Martian princess.
Yeah. You can imagine that with all the rocks available on Mars, some of them would happen to look like familiar objects. In fact, the human brain tends to perceive meaningful images in random patterns, a phenomenon known as pareidolia.
Well,
Yeah,
he didn't say it
pareidolia.
right the first time, but that.
Pareidolia. Yes, which is the face on Mars as well.
Yes.
When evaluating the claims, consider that the Martian environment is extremely harsh to life as we know it. Thank you. As we know it, the surface is baked with radiation. The air is mostly carbon dioxide.
It's baked as Mars right now.
The air is mostly carbon dioxide, and there's not much atmospheric pressure. Still, alien life could exist.
Yes.
Under its own conditions.
Yes.
For all we know.
That's my new thing.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe those rocks are alien life. Honestly, on Earth,
Galaxy
they're
quest.
just rocks, but who's
True.
to say on other planets
Yeah.
they're not sentient?
And they live to be millions of years old.
Did anyone ever
Exactly.
see Galaxy Quest? There's a rock
Yes.
creature.
True. Also in the Never-Ending Story, there's a rock creature.
Also in Fantastic Four.
There's
There's
a
a
rock
rock
creature.
creature.
It's true. I just saw a bright UFO. It's familiar trope for police stations and astronomy writers. From time to time, somebody will call or write and say they just saw a UFO in the sky. Technically, if you see something you don't know what it is, it's a UFO. They spotted a bright light around sunset or saw a light moving around in an unfamiliar way. While every situation is different, one common explanation for UFOs is actually another extraterrestrial object. Venus can be extremely bright when it's at its closest because it's relatively near Earth. The planet is also extremely reflective because the sun's light bounces off the clouds. So before calling to say you've spotted a UFO, check your sky charts. No.
Well, my problem is I always keep them on my bookshelf, but they're under stuff. It's just easier to say it's an alien.
It is a lot easier.
I don't know where you guys keep your Star Treks, but
I had the DVD. I put it in the case
I
for this other one when I was
Yeah.
watching a different movie, and then that one was in this other
This-
case, so I just couldn't find it. You never had that where you
I
have
always
to
misplace-
find your
I am
game?
always
You're like-
misplacing my sky
I
chart.
was like,
Yeah.
why is this in this case?
Yeah.
Where's the game I'm actually looking for? I understand what they're trying to say here, but I also think that it trivializes, and it's a way too simple an explanation for things that are clearly not Venus. Like,
No, I saw Venus.
bright
it
object.
beamed down several gray aliens, and then beamed them back up, and then shot across the sky.
That's
Just
Venus,
like
right?
Venus
And then
is
it
known
stopped
to
in
do.
orbit. Just where
stopped
Venus
in orbit.
is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just cuz.
And
And
then,
then Venus
three,
went and refueled at
Yeah.
the sun.
and then like three other Venuses popped
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of it.
Venus. I
and
believe
One
it's
got
called.
stuck in the
Venus.
Saturn belt.
Venus, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't explain every UFO sighting.
It does.
No.
Yes.
Here's another weird theory. NASA can travel faster than light.
Totally.
If you've seen the Star Trek clips that show the Enterprise spaceship, oh my goodness, warping into another sector, oh my goodness, you might have wondered how fast NASA is making progress on being able to move at the speed of light. The EM drive has created years of speculation, with some breathlessly saying NASA must be on the verge of breaking the famed barrier.
How did they send their...
I understand he collapsed because you
Grab me
can't.
here.
You could have emailed me.
Tell somebody. Venus.
What's this marathon? My goodness. In reality, NASA is downplaying the reports. The engine in question is the prototype that is producing some interesting results, such as appearing to create thrust when there was no reason for this to happen, and thereby violating Newton's third law of motion. That said, NASA has not yet verified the results from these tests. Of course, they're not going to verify because they're still testing it. And if they do break like the light speed barrier, they're going to keep it to themselves for a while they figure it out.
and how to make money off of it.
And how to, yes, 100%. It's like, well, if the U.S. government won't give us more money, we're just going to keep this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Also, all in favor of calling it the thrust drive.
The thrust drive, maximum thrust.
Maximum thrust. That's why you'll never be a captain. You're like, maximum thrust.
I love it. That said, NASA has not yet verified the results from these tests, and the engine has not been widely discussed. Of course not, in peer-reviewed research.
Hashtag fake NASA.
Okay. NASA is a branch of the U.S. government. The U.S. government does not like to immediately share its own
That is a
breakthroughs
truth
in
fact.
technology.
They also don't like NASA, so they made
apparently
their space
not.
force.
Yeah, like
Space Force.
like military. Here's your budget. Yes. Let's see what else. Like I don't know.
They're like, well, I got this change in my pocket. Here you go, NASA.
Here you go,
NASA.
pretty much. Yeah, it's like this
Also,
is
we're
less,
doing a Space Force.
This
Are we
is
part of
less-
it? No.
No,
What did they do? What you do.
But better. But with guns.
but with guns. That's how they all talk that way.
yeah, but with guns.
Everybody in the Space Force speaks like that. So I do find this fascinating. I didn't actually know that they had tested it.
The thrust engine.
So the thrust engine. I know that they had it. They basically had it in like blueprints, and they had theorized that it would work, but they couldn't get enough fuel. Basically,
Have they tried refueling at the sun? That's what the aliens do.
maybe. But I did not realize that it appeared to create thrust when there was no reason for this to happen. I had no idea that they actually succeeded.
What if the thing that fueled from the sun was the thrust engine, it worked, and we lost it?
All right, everyone, we're going to test out the thrust engine. Everybody buckle in. Buckle in.
They
lost it.
They launched it out there, and they're
And
like,
then they
all right, where did we send it? I thought you put the GPS in.
Shit.
Oh yes.
Oh.
And then they became lost in space.
Exactly, and then it got stuck in the belt in the moon systems
Yeah.
around.
You have to
Saturn,
be careful
and
of
it's now
something
a
called the
Death
thrust engine. What?
It's now the Death Stas.
That's stats. Yeah.
So you're saying it went back in time.
Yes, that's how fast it was.
Yeah. So we created a faster than light machine, but it also is a time machine.
By
Exactly.
accident.
By accident. Interesting.
Oh, I mean, if you're going to do something accidentally, you might as well create a time machine.
Exactly. Well, maybe not.
Whatever.
All right. Next one.
Legos are conspiracy.
Legos are Canadian. We've launched balloons into space. Not true.
No.
With the advent of high-resolution miniature cameras, several people have decided to strap these cameras onto high-altitude balloons and take pictures from up high. They've caught glimpses of blackness and at times taken interesting tiny passengers along, such as these Lego pieces and a Canadian flag in 2012. So they must be in space, right? There's no way a balloon can get into space. It's a little thing called atmosphere. And simply, physics explains why. When a balloon rises into the sky, the air inside will expand in response to the dropping atmospheric pressure and eventually pop. Even Felix Baumgartner's stunning high-altitude balloon jump in 2012 was not actually from space, because if he was in space, but from the atmosphere, which extends to roughly 31 miles or 50 kilometers above the Earth's surface. At that altitude, the air is thin enough to see the blackness of space, but thick enough to support special high-altitude balloons. The boundary between Earth's atmosphere and outer space is about twice as high as the upper limits of the atmosphere. So they're just in high atmosphere. Very, very high atmosphere. So, yeah. It's like when we send astronauts into low Earth orbit and we call it space.
Right.
They're not in space. It's low Earth orbit.
I mean, technically, they're in a space.
A space, yes. But we keep saying we're sending people to space. We are not sending people to space. That's when we went to the moon, we went into space. But when you're in low Earth orbit,
But we didn't go to
We've
the
sent-
moon.
it's not space.
We have gone around the moon, though, as well.
Yeah.
We have gone into...
Yeah.
We have gone into space.
I thought you were going to say
Or
we went into the
have we?
moon.
Or we didn't.
Or maybe not.
I would love to hear one of those recordings from like they go into the moon. I don't know.
I feel
one of
like
the
at
missions,
all of
like,
these
turns out it's another
recordings-
Death Star. Yeah, another one. Yep.
Yep.
I feel like all of these, they've
Third
got
one
to
we
have
found in
one
space.
guy there just to make ridiculous remarks so people are like, that can't be real. And that's how they keep it on the down low.
Wait.
Plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. Just make a movie about it, and then you're covered.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Therefore, Tomb Raider 2001 was real,
Indeed.
Scientifically accurate.
scientifically accurate.
Boom.
Yep.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe. Thank you, Dan. There are canals on Mars. Author Percival Lowell became one of space's first popularizers when he wrote many books of the general public back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. In these books and other writings, he said there were canals on Mars built by an intelligent civilization, perhaps to move water into desert-stricken areas. He claimed to have seen the canals in his own telescope and produced several sketches that are still available on the internet today. There are no artificial canals on Mars. Several spacecraft have flown by the planet or orbited it, and not one has caught sight of aliens from orbit. He didn't... Okay.
Assume.
What they have seen, however, are smaller channels that were created by nature, likely from water, ice, or other processes that cause erosion, like aliens.
Fake science.
Okay. That's a really old theory.
It's aliens.
How many more of these do we have? Just a few. We can do it. We can
All
do
right,
it.
we can do it.
All right.
Powering through.
Mad
Or maybe
dash.
not.
We're gonna do mad
maybe
dash.
No more jokes.
A star is flinging comets at Earth.
It's pissed.
Apparently,
my
like
last
the
joke.
solar system and
Stop
space.
being so blue.
Apparently, space just like has it out for us.
Yeah, space really hates Earth.
Yeah, I love
Earth
how
hates
all,
Earth.
That's fair.
I love
Earth
how
hates
all
us.
of these
Earth
are,
hates us.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
are about them flinging things at Earth. Nothing's like, this one planet really has it out for Mars.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Right.
to be
Well,
fair,
I mean,
I have it
besides-
out. Yeah,
It's
I have
always
it out
us.
for Mars.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's
Still,
actually the
I'm
real
starting
reason
my
for the
Indiegogo
asteroid
for
belt is someone
looking
keeps throwing it at Saturn. Saturn's the one with the the asteroid belt, right?
The asteroid
I
belt-
haven't had this.
The asteroid belt
Wrong.
is between Mars and it's what separates the inner and the outer planets.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking
You mean
the
rings?
the rings.
Yeah,
rings.
But
Oh, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
have asteroids and stuff in them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's actually their defense system because there's another planet that just really doesn't like them.
I see what you're saying.
Flinging them.
A
They
long-standing
just miss, and that's why they think
Yeah.
it's at us because they're
Yeah.
missing Saturn.
Yeah.
They got terrible aim.
Got it.
a long-standing theory known as Nemesis supports that there is some sort of. I would love these
Jesus.
planets to come together and be like, "You're going to destroy Earth. I was going to destroy Earth. You're going to destroy Earth. Oh my goodness."
Oh my
Where's
gosh.
that
heat
Death
Do you have a
Star?
Death
Whatever it is.
Star? You mean
Yeah.
a Death Star? No,
no,
Death
no.
You want to get sued?
You want to get space sued?
Spacesuit. A lot of death planets out there. A long-standing theory known as Nemesis supports that there is some sort of Death Star on the outer edge of the solar system whose orbital motions perturb comets in an icy region of objects known as the Oort cloud. According to the myth, the star it's a real thing, the Oort cloud.
The orc.
According to the Orc cloud, that would be frightening.
Just look.
Frozen orcs.
cloud
just-
of space orcs.
According to the myth, the star's gravity throws these comets toward the inner solar system, and these comets collide with Earth and cause mass extinctions once every 27 million years. That's a very exact number. However, a 2011 study concluded that the idea is unlikely. I love how inconclusive scientists
I
are.
was,
maybe
I
it's
was a
not.
part
I
of
don't
this
even
one.
know.
They're like that, or maybe not.
Maybe not. I
not.
don't know.
Right?
Because the comet
been.
strikes in recorded history haven't happened with any regularity. The pattern that was recorded in the hoax is actually a statistical artifact, or the result of researchers trying to find patterns in nature where they do not exist, the study's authors found.
Or maybe
It's not like the universe is on this schedule of like 27 million
No,
year
it
extinctions.
is.
There's just
And we're at
someone on the other
26,
side.
99999.
One more year, people.
Oh no.
Another one is there's life on Venus. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, the Soviet Union sent several uncrewed missions, I would hope so, to study Venus. 10 of these Venera probes landed on the surface of Venus and were able to transmit data and images for a few minutes before succumbing to the planet's extreme atmosphere. Extreme. In 2012,
Mountain Dew and Doritos.
the Russian news service RIA Novosti reported the Leonid Kosmonauta, a scientist who worked on the Venera
Flawless
missions,
pronunciation there.
suggests that the photographers showed these living objects moving around on the planet's surface. So yeah, no debunking. There's no debunking. Oh, maybe there's. Oh yes. Okay.
They're like, yeah, no, seriously, we found people
Keep
on
reading,
Venus.
yeah.
That's
These
It's not a
alleged
hoax.
life forms.
We weren't kidding when we said women were from Venus.
realistically, that's
They're
where
all
they
there.
came from.
These alleged life forms on Venus are just an example of letting your mind see patterns in low-resolution data that simply aren't real. Jonathan Hill, a research technician who processes images taken during NASA's Mars missions, explained to the Space.com sister site Live Science in 2012, another website we get a lot of our lists from. According to NASA, the objects that appeared to be moving were actually camera lens covers that automatically popped off of the cameras after landing.
What?
I don't know. Live Science reports these half-circled objects were seen in images from Venera 13 and Venera 14, two identical spacecraft that landed about 590 miles apart. Both had two identical cameras, one in front and one in back. So it makes sense that the covers would appear in different places. Another photograph that Cosmonauts said was a scorpion is actually a blur in the image.
Yeah,
Okay.
blur made by a scorpion.
Blur made. It looks like a crab.
That's
to
like
me.
moving really fast.
Yeah. Again,
Hyper Venus scorpions are gonna come down here, team up with the snakes.
team up with the snakes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're all gonna have to move to Mars after I nuke it.
Oh,
I think
God.
the whales are going to nuke it before you do.
No, it's true. Nuke
This
whales.
is true. Nuke whales.
All right, another one. An asteroid is about to crash into Earth. This is also, by the way, this list is about space theories that are still alive that apparently should be dead. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of these, though, are just so generic. An asteroid is about to crash into Earth. Well, no
There's
shit,
a,
that's gonna
de-
exist
there's a
forever.
death planet out there
Hypothetically, it
somewhere.
was flung by a star trying to destroy us.
Or a death
Or
planet.
a Death Star.
Stars.
An asteroid about to crash into Earth. This reoccurring rumor claims that a threatening doomsday asteroid is about to slam into our planet. An example from 2015 had an asteroid purported to hit Earth in late September when it would supposedly wreak devastation from its impact point near Puerto Rico. NASA quickly dismissed the reports, which turned out, as usual, to be false. But that's not to say that asteroids will never hit our planet. NASA and a network of monitoring telescopes across the world are cataloging all known asteroids wider than 459 feet or 140 meters across in line with a 2005 congressional mandate. Smaller asteroids, if found, are also cataloged. Of the space rocks discovered so far, NASA has not found a single asteroid that has a high probability of hitting Earth in the foreseeable future. Or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
What?
No.
Aliens landed in Roswell, New Mexico. Everyone
there
knows
you
what
go.
they did. On a ranch in Roswell, New Mexico. So the story
This was
goes.
true.
An alien spacecraft crashed in 1947. What?
It's an episode of Futurama.
No, of course it is. While the accounts of exactly what happened vary, the legend claims that a disc or some sort of spacecraft was found on a ranch and that the government quickly covered up the evidence. While rumors of aliens circulated, some people speculated that the crash was just plain old weather. I can't read now. I've been reading for a long time. Was just a plain old weather balloon that might not have been recognized by the local community. The U.S. military has since acknowledged the, quote, spacecraft was actually a weather balloon sent aloft as a part of Project Mogul, which involved flying microscopes on high altitude balloons to listen for sound waves. Microphones. Oh my goodness. It's like microscopes. Sound waves generated by possible Soviet Union nuclear tests.
So
Okay.
I'm just going to say right now, for the number of conspiracies that are just weather balloons or things like that, I have never seen a weather balloon in my entire life. Yet somehow they randomly
So
show up
you're
in many
telling me-
locations.
Weather balloons don't exist.
They don't exist.
They're a conspiracy.
No, it's more of the
No.
Like,
I would love to claim-
where are these?
I would love to
who
claim,
uses
like-
these for normal actual weather. Like,
Yeah.
do they really just go? I don't know what the weather is. Put out the balloon.
Well, I mean, this was also the 1950s, though.
Right.
Well, we
No,
didn't
I
have
know.
computers and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think nowadays
But
we
like
really
sometimes
use
we
many
do
weather
hear
balloons.
things, but it's
Yeah.
Like
Ugh.
a hobbyist can use a weather balloon.
Yeah, but I think most actual like meteorological
Right. No,
places
we don't really
do not
use weather balloons anymore. No.
Yeah.
I would love
It'd
to.
be funny if that's what they were still doing. Some guys in the back.
Well, it wouldn't fly if he was blowing it with his
Shut up. And it's raining.
it's actually Helium Man.
helium man. He's the one human with an actual like superpower.
And he
He's
uses it
producing
for weather
helium, yeah.
balloons.
And
don't wanna-
nobody told them that we stopped using them.
And nobody takes him seriously because he sounds like a chipmunk.
Can I stop blowing up these balloons out? No, you just keep doing it.
Hey, come on, helium man, check my man. I would love to I would love to see somebody like mislead a government official and say like, yeah, so a weather balloon, one of your top secret weather balloons landed on my farm. Is like, sorry, sir, no, that's actually an alien space. Oh, for that.
Damn it.
I always get those two. Just you say one thing and I say the other.
Sir, we had a weather balloon crash again. Which one? The one shaped like a UFO with the big machine guns on it.
Project
That
Death
one.
Stats.
Damn it.
The one with the alien in it. Yeah.
Damn it. Now everybody will learn that we get all of our weather predictions from aliens. Shit.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
not.
This last one, okay, climate change isn't real.
This is
Earth is on an abnormal warming
No, it's not.
trend.
No, it's not.
Arctic ice is melting,
really
sea
cold this
levels
winter.
rising, and temperatures are going to extremes in many locations around the world. Why is this happening? Anti-climate change
El Niño.
conspirators have many speculations: solar activity, radiation, the Earth's and Sun's movements around the Milky Way, among other theories. While there are many components of climate change, the fact that humans have contributed to it is indisputable.
I dispute that.
Temperature graphs show that the climate has not warmed this much this quickly in all of Earth's history, as seen in geological records, and that the increase correlates with increased industrialization. This has nothing to do with space. Or kind of does, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I guess
It's-
we're in space.
I guess this person wanted to get on their soapbox.
in space.
Well, we are in that's true. We are in space.
That's the problem. We ran out of gas. And we couldn't make it to the sun to refuel.
Oh, no. Now we're just stuck in orbit waiting to get gas
Yeah.
again.
Oh, when's AAA gonna show up?
Seriously.
So that was
Alien
our...
AAA. Which
that
would
was
be
our list.
quadruple A, I
Quadruple A,
guess. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Are there any other theories that you guys think should be retired?
Should be
Space
retired.
Nazis?
Yeah.
Space Nazis?
Be
No, Space Nazis is
retired.
still
I
golden.
love it.
That one's
Yeah.
Large
entertaining
portion
hell.
of this, part of me, because of how awful the world is these days
Sure.
in 2020,
Right.
part of me is starting to wonder if it was supposed to happen in 2012, 2016, that time period, but there's someone across the universe that was like,
yeah.
crap, I'm late.
I forgot
lot
to fling the comet today.
A lot
does-
happened in 2016. A lot of
Does seem
theories
that
were,
way. Yeah.
2012 and 2015, 2016 were the hot. When was this written?
This was
2012, 2015,
written
2016.
in
Okay,
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
So that makes a little more sense why those were the more
Yeah.
recent ones. But
We need more
I-
recent ones. We
I
need
like
we
all
need
of
new conspiracy theories for 2020.
all right.
Okay. We'll come up with some.
I feel like we should do an episode where we just all come up with.
That should be
I
our
have
next
one
episode.
about
Wild.
Yeah.
China and the COVID.
Okay,
virus.
I love it. Save it for the next episode.
I will.
I'll come up with my own involving space Nazis.
That's
Okay.
part of mine.
Nice.
I'll come up with some good,
Conspiracies
I'll come up with some good
activated.
ones. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that was our list. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this episode of the Mystery Cast right here on Tales of Earth. Dan,
Wait a minute.
Glorp Dan,
Hello. If you want to find me, I am on Twitter and
got it.
Instagram at DanTProducer or on Twitch at Cyloo91, CYLOO91.
Illuminati Andy.
Illuminandy.
Ooh,
I
you
like
can find
that.
me on Instagram at Fryam the Andy, and that is it.
Yes,
I'm gonna change it to Fryam the Glorp.
You should change it to For I Am the Andy and that's it.
What if that's the leader of the Glorps? The Glorp, the Great Glorp.
The Great Glorp.
Great
Some
Glorp.
aliens are gonna find him and be like, he doesn't know anything of our culture.
That is absolute profanity. We are not going to that
He's
planet.
swearing constantly.
I mean, when you pair the word Glorp with this noun, it's just awful.
Jaws.
You can find me on YouTube at Film Circuit and Twitter at Film Circuit and Instagram at Northward Films. Thank you again. And I think next episode we're gonna make up our own conspiracies.
I like it. I think
and
we
then
should.
get our doors bashed in
We
when they
should
turn out to be
do
true.
2 conspiracies and a lie.
Ooh, let's do that. 2 conspiracies and a lie. We're all gonna come up with our own.
Yeah.
And you have to figure
it's
out which
definitely
one
not
is-
going to be 3 lies.
I know, you got to come up with like whichever one, you got to figure out which one is an actual real conspiracy and whichever one the other person made up.
You know what? Maybe I'll just introduce you guys to my conspiracy theorist game.
Okay, that'll work too.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you.